In the fading light of a rainy autumn afternoon, Elias Thorne sat alone on a weathered bench in Eldridge Park, his violin case resting at his feet like a silent companion. At 58, he carried the weight of years etched into his face, deep lines from laughter long forgotten, eyes shadowed by loss. His coat, once a sharp navy blue, was now threadbare, patched in places where the fabric had given way. The rain pattered softly on the leaves above, but Elias barely noticed. He hadn't played his violin in months, not since the accident that had stolen his wife's voice and, eventually, her life. Eldridge Park was a quiet oasis in the bustling city of Riverton, a place where joggers weaved through paths lined with maple trees and families picnicked under gazebos on sunnier days. But today, the gray sky mirrored Elias's mood. He came here every afternoon, not to play, but to remember. His wife, Clara, had loved this park. They'd met here 30 years ago, when he was a young musician busking for change, and she was a teacher with a smile that could light up the gloomiest day. She dropped a coin into his case and stayed to listen, her eyes sparkling as his bow danced across the strings. Now Clara was gone, taken by a cruel twist of fate, a car crash on a slick road one winter night. Elias had survived with minor injuries, but the guilt had crippled him more than any broken bone. He blamed himself for insisting they drive home that evening instead of waiting out the storm. The violin, once his lifeline, now felt like a relic of a happier time. He hadn't touched it since her funeral, where he'd played her favorite piece, Bach's Air on the G string, one last time. As the rain intensified, Elias considered heading back to his small apartment, a place filled with echoes of Clara's absence. But a soft sound caught his attention, a child's voice, humming a tune amidst the downpour. He looked up to see a girl, no older than 10, sheltering under a nearby oak tree. She wore a bright yellow raincoat that seemed too big for her slender frame, its hood pulled low over curly brown hair. In her hands, she clutched a small notebook, scribbling furiously despite the weather. The girl noticed him watching and waved shyly. Elias managed a small nod, surprised by the interaction. Children usually ignored him, seeing only an old man lost in thought. But this one approached, her boots splashing through puddles. "Hi, mister," she said, her voice bright and unfiltered. "What's in the case? Is it a guitar?" Elias chuckled softly, the sound foreign to his ears. "No, young lady. It's a violin." Her eyes widened. "A violin? Like an orchestra's? Can you play it?" "I used to," he replied, his tone laced with melancholy. "Not anymore." "Why not?" she pressed, tilting her head. "Kids, and their endless questions," he thought. "It's a long story," he said, hoping to end the conversation. "I've got time," she countered, plopping down on the bench beside him, uninvited but undeterred.
"I'm Sofa."
"What's your name?" "Elias," he answered, bemused by her boldness. "Shouldn't you be home? It's raining." Sophia shrugged. "My grandma's at work. She runs the cafe across the street. I come here after school to draw and think." "What's your story, Elias? Why'd you stop playing?" He sighed, glancing at the violin case. Something about her innocent curiosity cracked his resolve. "My wife, she loved when I played. But she's gone now. It doesn't feel right without her." Sophia's face softened, a maturity beyond her years shining through. "My mom died too. Last year. Cancer. I miss her a lot. She used to sing to me every night. Now, I hum her songs so I don't forget them." Elias felt a pang in his chest.
"I'm sorry, Sophia."
"That's tough for anyone, especially someone your age." "Yeah," she said quietly. "But Grandma says memories are like music. They keep playing if you let them. Maybe you should play your violin again. For your wife." He shook his head. "It's not that simple." Sophia opened her notebook, revealing pages filled with sketches, birds, trees, and what looked like musical notes swirling around figures. "I draw what I remember about Mom.
See?
This is her favorite song." She pointed to a page with crude staffs and dots. Elias leaned in, recognizing the melody. "That's Over the Rainbow." Clara loved that one too. Really? Sophia beamed. Play for me, please. He hesitated, the rain now a steady drum on the leaves. But her plea tugged at him. Slowly, he unlatched the case, lifting the violin with trembling hands. Though it felt familiar, like an old friend. He tuned it quickly, then drew the bow across the strings. The first notes wavered, but as he continued, the melody flowed, pure and haunting in the rain-soaked air. Sophia closed her eyes, humming along softly. When he finished, she clapped enthusiastically. That was beautiful. Your wife would love it. Elias wiped a tear from his cheek, disguised as rain.
Thank you, Sophia.
Maybe she would. From that day, their meetings became routine. Sophia would wait for him after school, notebook in hand, and Elias would play short pieces while she drew. She shared stories of her mother, a vibrant artist who taught her to see beauty in everyday things. In return, Elias opened up about Clara, their walks in the park, her passion for teaching children like Sophia, the way she'd dance in the kitchen to his impromptu concerts. One afternoon, as the leaves turned golden, Sophia arrived with a determined look. Elias, I have an idea. Grandma's Cafe is having a talent night next week. You should play there. He laughed it off. I'm too old for that. Besides, I haven't performed in years. But you're amazing. And it could help the cafe. Business has been slow since Mom died. Grandma works so hard, but she's sad too. Elias met Sophia's grandmother, Rosa, a warm woman in her 60s with salt and pepper hair and a no-nonsense demeanor. She ran Café Harmony, a cozy spot known for its homemade pastries and live music on weekends. Sophia talks about you non-stop, Rosa said when Elias visited. She says you're a wizard with that violin. Hardly, he replied modestly. But she's a special kid. Reminds me of my Clara. Rosa's eyes misted. Losing her daughter hit her hard. Sophia's all I have left. If playing at the talent night would make her happy, I'd be grateful. Reluctantly, Elias agreed. The night arrived crisp and clear, the cafe buzzing with locals. Sophia had decorated the stage with her drawings, including one of Elias playing under a rainbow. He took the stage nervously, violin in hand. This is for Clara, he whispered to himself, then began Over the Rainbow. The room fell silent, the notes weaving through the air like magic. By the end, applause erupted, and Sophia hugged him tightly. You did it, she exclaimed. That performance reignited something in Elias. He started busking in the park again, drawing small crowds. Sophia joined him sometimes, sketching portraits of listeners for tips. Rosa noticed the change in her granddaughter. Fewer quiet moments, more laughter. And Elias felt the ice around his heart melting. But life, as Elias knew, wasn't always kind. One evening, as winter approached, Sophia didn't show up. Concerned, he visited the cafe. Rosa answered the door, her face pale. It's Sophia.
She's sick.
Fever, cough, doctors say it's pneumonia. She's in the hospital. Elias's world tilted. Can I see her?
Rosa nodded.
At the hospital, Sophia looked small in the bed, tubes and monitors beeping around her. Hey, kiddo, he said, forcing a smile. Elias, she whispered. I missed our music. He pulled out his violin, ignoring the nurse's raised eyebrow. With permission, he played softly, her mother's songs, Clara's favorites. Sophia's eyes brightened, her breathing easing as the melodies filled the room. Over the next days, Elias visited daily, playing for her. Rosa confided in him. The medical bills, they're piling up. Insurance doesn't cover everything. I might have to sell the cafe. Don't, Elias urged. Let me help. We can organize a benefit concert in the park. I'll rally the musicians I know. Word spread quickly. Old friends from Elias's orchestra days joined, along with local bands. Sophia, improving but still weak, insisted on attending from a wheelchair. The park overflowed with people, blankets spread on the grass, lanterns glowing as dusk fell. Elias opened with Over the Rainbow, dedicating it to Sophia and Clara. The crowd donated generously, enough to cover the bills and more. As Sophia recovered, their bond deepened. Elias taught her basic violin notes, her small fingers struggling but determined. Rosa invited him for family dinners, the cafe thriving with new customers drawn by the story of the park violinist and his young protege. One spring day, under blooming cherry blossoms, Sophia presented Elias with a gift, a handmade book of her drawings, chronicling their journey. "You're like a grandpa to me," she said. "Will you stay?" Elias knelt, tears in his eyes. "Always, Sophia. You've given me a second chance at life." Rosa watched from afar, smiling. "Clara would be proud," she said later. "You've found family again." And so, in Eldridge Park, where it all began, Elias played on. The forgotten